Well, welcome back to my channel, everybody, one and all, and today is day 10 of a tuna day, keep the coronavirus away, and it's been another beautiful day today. Not quite so warm on occasions, but pretty nice out there in the garden. I've been doing some work as well, so as you would expect, because we're all working from home these days, but I've also managed to protect wood stain, I suppose, and protect the bike shed. And I've been doing that. I've decided to do that inside. I repaired the roof soon after the winter, and I did put some tarpaulin over the roof before the winter set in. And then what I've done is I've put some new roofing felt, shed felt on there, and it's now nice and snug because the water was leaking into the main timbers of that, so I don't want that to rot away. So I've decided that I will then stain the inside with some wood protection, and also the outside, the bits that I can see, because it's squashed between the garage and the boundary fence, and some of you may have seen that when I was talking to you about my mowers. And on that note, I've got some really good news. Babs, the Flymo type, these Briggs and Stratton motor mower, has found a new home. Because you know that the wasn't working properly. Let's get this right. And I had slightly over tightened where the spark plug goes into the main head of the cylinder and cross-threaded it, unfortunately. I had a knock on the door today, and my local postie has said that his son is a mechanic, and could he take it with him and repair it, possibly. And I said, by all means, it'd be nice that it's had 13 years of good life here, and be nice that somebody else will make use of it. So he took that in the back of the postal van, so that's good news. So I'm really chuffed about that, because I did feel slightly guilty that I slightly over tightened it and cross-threaded it, and he might be able to use some dies and taps and actually perhaps be able to fix it. I'm not sure he will be able to, because it's aluminium head on a two-stroke, and that might be possible. But anyway, I leave that to him, and I wished him well. Don't forget, of course, I've got a new two-stroke mower, which is the Sprint. So Sprint has taken over, and he's got a nice new house in the garage. He's housed in the garage now. So all in all, quite a nice afternoon. Before I forget, I set you a bit of a challenge yesterday, and that was to talk about... Oh, here we go. I wanted to talk about Harriet. And I said, what singer does Harriet sound like? And I had quite a few responses, actually, and you were all correct, actually. And the person that she sounds like is, let's play here. Where are we? Let's go.
We've only just begun.
None other than Karen Carpenter, and I'm a great fan of the Carpenters, and I've got several of their albums. This one, which was at the Palladium. I've got the most famous one of all, which is the Carpenters here. Here we go. Now and Then, the Now and Then album, which I'm sure quite a few of you might have. I've played this quite often, and it's a really lovely album. And finally, I've got the box set of the Carpenters as well, and I play this quite often too. I just love their singing, and so relaxing. So yes, and if you're a Carpenter fan, just turn that down. If you're a Carpenter fan and would like to hear one of those tracks, I'm very happy to play that. As you know, I've got quite an eclectic taste in music, but the Carpenters particularly are excellent. And very sadly, of course, Karen died of anorexia nervosa, and we have lost her. Richard still writes music and still going strong, but it was after I saw a documentary program about her that I bought the box set, and of course they played quite a lot of her music on that. So on that note, but well done, all of you. All those people that got it right, and Stuart Ellis, I think, was one of those. Buzz was another word, and Paul Wilson, certainly. They all were correct in their their assessment of that. Mind you, it wasn't that difficult, was it? I don't think Harriet actually would admit to actually, or she might do actually, sounding like Karen Carpenter. She certainly doesn't sing any of their songs. I think if she did that, she'd be typecasting herself, where she likes to have her own material, which, as we know, is excellent. And I played one of those tracks yesterday. Today, I'm going to play somebody totally different, but in the same sort of slightly same genre, I suppose. But before then, I thought perhaps I'd mention one or two things that's going on in the press. So let me just minimise this. There we go. And right, okay. I mentioned a while ago about how my local hospice, the Heart of Kent Hospice, which is based at Preston Hall in Maidstone, just up the road from where I live and where I've worked as a clinician a little while ago, and I'm very in touch with some of the people that work there still, that a chap called, Martin Glover from Lewes. Lewes is a place that's very near Maidstone, just the other side of Maidstone, the other side of the water, and he's completed a 112-mile cycle on his Swift cycling app, using the Swift cycling app, or Zip cycling app, and running 1,758 laps of his garden. Can you imagine that? Gosh. And he's raised £4,000. He was also supported by his family and his daughter, which I think is an amazing achievement. So I'll put a picture of that on, for you to see as the video progresses. That was really good. That was reported in my local Kent Messenger newspaper that comes out today. Something else in the press that I thought was interesting was the fact that we've got Major Tom Moore as well, and Tom, Captain Tom Moore, that is, not Major, Tom Moore, Captain Tom Moore, who is 99 and will be 100 at the end of this month, has actually raised, would you believe, £14 million for the National Health Service. I think that's an amazing achievement. He started off by only wanting to raise 1,000, and it's gone viral, this, and you may have seen the same thing perhaps in your country or locally. And so I'll put a picture of Tom there, and he lives up, I think he lives in Yorkshire actually, Bedfordshire, sorry Tom, Bedfordshire, and he's done an amazing job, and he's going to continue walking in his front sort of driveway area, or his garden, the BBC call it, and while this money's still rolling in on the Just Giving page. So if you want to support Tom, you can do that with the Just Giving page, and that's an amazing achievement. So there's so much going on that's really, really good about things at the moment, particularly supporting the National Health Service and all the nurses and doctors and ancillary staff as well, that are putting their lives on the line. One of my contacts, Rad, who works in one of the London hospitals, has actually got a friend of his who works in intensive care, who actually is on a ventilator at the moment, and he's often says he's quite anxious working in accident emergency, and but he has got enough PPE at the moment, so that's at least something that's good. And we're now up to 14,000 deaths. That's excluding those people who live in care homes, and those numbers are being refined, and finally the government are going to be adding those to the lists as well. And today there was another 700 deaths in the United Kingdom, so so those numbers will be added tomorrow from that. Something that's very worrying and that was reported in the Telegraph is that my friend Professor Martin Green has done an article along with others from the care associations, and that the government in this country pledged £1.6 million for social care. 1.6 million is not going to go anywhere, but it was a start. And it seems that local councils, these are the people who actually distribute the money, so they can pay for PPE and also extra staffing. Apparently the money's being kept back, and it seems that some councils are actually only allowing an uplift in fee rates. That's the people that haven't got enough money to fund themselves or might need a top up, the way the system works in the United Kingdom, only allowing about 5%, not 10%, and that's really hitting the care industry very badly. And we need to have at least that, and it could be that 40% of care homes in the United Kingdom could cease trading if the money doesn't get through to them. And I'm hearing already from colleagues and friends who work in the sector that in fact it's quite severe. Up to 14% of residents are actually contracting and dying of coronavirus, and one of the largest organisations, charity organisations in this country, has reported that through a friend of mine, and that's extremely worrying when you think about it. So I gave the same message as I give every day, is that social distancing is important, that we must make sure that we protect ourselves and make sure that we wash our hands regularly and protect those people in the front line, and that's critical to anything, to recovery. We've now been told that the lockdown will be for another 3 weeks in the United Kingdom. That will make it 7 weeks altogether, and they're going to review it at the end of that, whether we're going to release the brakes a bit and allow people to for businesses to reopen. I do believe what will happen is large groups will be still banned, and that there will still be social distancing, and possibly on a risk basis. Then people will be allowed to socialise in that basis. But very concerning. So without further ado, as I like to say at the end of these videos, I'm going to play somebody else who I've also seen live at the Pizza Express Music Room, and that's a lady called Katie Britill. And Katie's a jazz musician, she's a singer, and this is her CD. I bought both of them last time. She signed this for me, so I'm going to play 2 tracks, and she's got an EP out as well. I'm going to play 2 tracks, and the 2 tracks are, where are we? Who Will Buy, which is from Oliver, and also Children Will Listen. So I'm going to play both of those. Who Will Buy is by Oliver and by obviously Lionel Burt, and Children Will Listen, the intro into the Woods of Solomon, it says on here. So I'm going to play those 2 for you on the vertical CD player. One of my YouTube watchers or viewers, if that's the right word, has asked about where they can get hold of the CMT EX1, I forget the names up by Sony. There are plenty of opportunities on eBay at the moment, and they're going for about, I suppose, £40 at that when fully working. One thing I would advise is to make sure, if you're going to buy one of these nice machines, and they do sound good, that they come complete with the 2 speakers that come with them. They're 2-way speakers, and make sure that you get the controller as well, because that's a critical part. I've had several of these machines I've repaired, and they always sell well when I resell them on eBay. But anyway, that's what I thought I'd mention. So listen to Katie Britill, let me know what you think, and I'll speak to you tomorrow for day 11 of the tune of the day, Keep the Coronavirus Away. Take care, look after yourself, and I look forward to your comments, and see you soon. Bye for now.
Who will buy this wonderful morning? Such a sky it at my leisure. When everything's gone wrong, that I would keep it as a treasure to last my whole life long. Hope will buy this wonderful feeling. I'm so high as well to fly beyond my. I don't want to lose it. So what am I to do to keep the sky so blue? There must be someone who will buy. Who will buy? 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 Careful the things you say, children will listen. Careful the things you do, children will see and learn. Children may not obey, but children will listen. Children will look to you for which way to turn to learn what to be. Careful before you say, listen to me. Children will listen. How do you say to your child in the night, nothing's all black, but then nothing's all white? How do you say it'll all be alright when you know that it mightn't be true? What do you do? What do you leave to your child when you're dead? Only whatever you put in its head. Things that your mother and father had said, which were left to them too. Careful what you say. Careful the spell you cast, not just on children. Sometimes the spell may last past what you can see and turn against you. Careful the tale you tell, that is the spell.